Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Delve Live. Delve is a show where we discuss everything and we celebrate everything pop culture. I'm Tom Morris, and let me give you a little bit of background about Delve. We started this a few years ago, a few friends of mine. We wanted to talk about pop culture. We wanted to celebrate all the cool things that were going on. And now that we've the last year had to do remotely, we figured what better way than to talk about pop culture than to embrace the change that has come on. The theme of this episode is classic game franchises reimagined. What I mean by that is there have been a lot of times where through the years, let's say the 8-bit and 16-bit generation, um, we played a lot of classic franchises. Let's talk about the Marios, the Zeldas, the Metroids, the Sonics, the Fantasy Stars. But let's talk about some of those other classic franchises that these companies, these publishers, they do not bring out anymore. They almost sit. They kind of sit in the closet. They collect dust. Now, after 20, 30 years, the kids that were playing these games on the 8 and 16-bit consoles, they're now adults. They're video game programmers, they're artists, they're coders. They remember, they grew up like my generation grew up with Star Wars. So you saw a lot of that inspiration. A lot of the people have went on and formed little independent game companies, game developers. And I think there's a new trend out where these indie developers are going to these big companies, these big publishers, and say, hey, if you're not doing anything with this franchise, then let us have a chance to do something cool with it. Let us have a chance to reimagine it the way that we remember, not with all the slick CGI and polygon graphics. That's cool. I'm not saying it isn't. What I'm saying is let's take these classic games, modernize them, but in a way that keeps them still the essence of what made them so great. That's the discussion that we're going to have for this episode. And we focus on some of the news that has been out. And we're going to discuss some games also that have been um, released and been announced. Let's talk about some news and observations and commentary through the week. This past yesterday, as a matter of fact, Nintendo had an indie showcase. If anyone isn't familiar with the independent showcase, you have Nintendo has their eShop, and they allow independent publishers and developers to make little independent games, just like independent music, independent film, independent TV. They're not up by the big publishers. Microsoft has their Xbox indies. I think Nintendo calls them Nindies. And then you have the PlayStation Store with the PlayStation indie development. And of course, Steam has their beta access. I'm not sure, early access, I believe what it's called. But you get a lot of these indie developers that take these franchises or they make new properties that they just want to show their love of games. So they get more, I want to use the experimental with the art style, the music, the gameplay, because really they're out to create a game that we wouldn't see from the main release. And that's what we're going to talk about is some of these games that were announced here recently that the main publishers, they haven't done much with any of them, but now they're getting reimagined. The first game that was just recently announced, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. If anyone remembers, of course, the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line, we had a lot of games that came out for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the 1980s. Of course, we had the cartoons, we had the comic books. The comic books are what started it. Then we had the cartoons, and then we had the action figures. Then we had video games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Nintendo, and also late 87, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, where you could have 4 players that could play at the same time. Then you had Sega Genesis games, Super Nintendo games, but the best one really was the Ninja Turtles arcade game. What you're going to see with Shredder's Revenge is that there is awesome gameplay. It's going back to the pixel graphics. And what is cool about pixel graphics is it's the same style animation that we used in the arcade and the 16-bit games. You have all 4 turtles. As you see, they're fighting the Foot Soldiers, the Foot Clan, and you're going to face classic locations, and you're going to have the classic characters, everything that feels great about the turtles. Of course, you're going to fight the bosses as well. And some of the features is the classic four-player arcade style. This is coming out for the Nintendo Switch and the PC, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it for PlayStation and Xbox. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, the classic locations. This is what I'm really looking forward to. Just playing a game that is modernized, but it still is that 16-bit feeling. If you've seen classic game franchise Reimagined, there's one title right there that is really going to be a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments if you've played. What was your favorite Turtle? What was your favorite novel, your book? Did you grow up playing the Turtles with the action figures, watching the TV shows, the cartoons? Or maybe you're a parent and you had to buy your kid a lot of Turtles because, now that they're grown up, they're probably buying Turtles figures and everything as well, or they busted out theirs. The next game that we're going to talk about that was reimagined, Streets of Rage 4. Now, when Streets of Rage 4, that was released last year, but what was really cool about that, Streets of Rage, Bare Knuckle in Japan, was a trilogy of games that were beat 'em ups, and they redefined the genre on the Sega Genesis. It was a Sega Genesis exclusive. They had 1, 2, and 3. When they came out, it was 2 players simultaneous. You went through a bunch of levels. The music was awesome. All these years later, Sega didn't do anything with this franchise. Nothing for the Sega Saturn. There was rumored for the Sega Dreamcast. That never happened. Sega went third party. And we all kind of know what happened third party. Now, one of these companies called .emu, with cooperation with Sega and some, I think, Crush Guard Games, they decided that they're going to bring out Streets of Rage 4. When they brought it out, you had the great gameplay. They actually used hand-drawn graphics this time, but it still had the nostalgic sound. The characters looked like Streets of Rage. It felt like a continuation of the Streets of Rage franchise. Well, they recently announced, as you saw, that there is going to be downloadable content called Mr. X Nightmare. What makes the Mr. X Nightmare game download so cool is, yes, let me zoom in on something. I want everyone to see this. New weapons that you're going to be able to use in the game. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a swordfish. Just right then and there, that is worth the price of admission, a swordfish. But really what you're going to have is you're going to have an insane new difficulty level, I think Mania Plus in the free download, but you're going to have 3 new characters. You're going to have new combo moves, new levels to play. You're going to have a training mode so you can practice your combos. You're also going to have new music as well. So Mr. X Nightmare DLC looks awesome. And again, it's great to show pictures, but let's show some gameplay footage in this reveal trailer. Like I said, new moves, new combinations, new weapons. You're going to have 3 downloadable characters as well. The swordfish. I was talking to one of my friends, and he said the swordfish was just worth the price of admission because you want to hit someone upside the head with a swordfish. You can see it invokes, if you played Streets of Rage, 1, 2, and 3 on the Sega Genesis or Bare Knuckle on the Mega Drive. You see, it just feels like one of those classic games. And that's what I'm looking forward to. We're going to see right now a new character reveal. Don't want to say too much because some people might not have played it. They were in the story. That brings me to what I'm going to call a pop culture question. What classic game franchise IP would you like to see relaunched or modernized by an independent publisher? Put your answers in the comments below, and we'll discuss some of these answers here in a little bit. It's now time for Now Playing. And we're talking about Streets of Rage. We definitely have to play Streets of Rage 4 on the PlayStation 4. This is a game, like I said, it came out, I downloaded it, I played it with some friends, and it just felt like I was playing a classic Sega Genesis style gameplay. It has modern hand-drawn graphics, and it has some awesome, awesome music. So we're going to set that up, and that's going to be our Now Playing game. In this game, you've got your story mode, where you go through all of the story of Streets of Rage 4. You have your stage select, which I've beaten the game once already. We had arcade mode, a boss rush, because most games now, they have the boss rush where you fight against the bosses. See how quickly you can beat them. And you have battle, where you play one-on-one versus people. All right. Let us play. I think we're going to play arcade mode. We're going to play arcade mode, see how long I can get on just 1 credit. Yeah, I'm not going to do very well on this one. Normal. Okay, Axel, Blaze, Cherry, Floyd, Adam. Then I also have Axel from Streets of Rage 1, Adam from Streets of Rage 1, and Blaze from Streets of Rage 1. I tell you what, I'm going to actually do Blaze from Streets of Rage 1. If you've played Streets of Rage 4, this is, or Streets of Rage 1, 2, or 3, the bad guy was Mr. X and his syndicate. Now you have to fight the twins, the Y twins, because XY. I don't make up the stories, but I appreciate that the fan detail that people are doing with these games, that they're taking the source material and bringing them back to the modern times on these new systems. I really think that's cool. Okay, let's get playing. Listen to some of that music here in a second. Oh, they won't let me. Oh, wow. Something does not quite look like the other. You can play online. You can play couch co-op with someone. One thing that is new in the Streets of Rage 4 series is you have these hit counters, combos, and the longer you can keep this going, you get more points when it actually stops. See right there, I got more additional bonus points. And some people can just really up the combos. I've seen like 90, 100, and once I get up to 30 or 40, I kind of stop because I don't want to lose my combo points. Now, this was a Sega property, and Sega back in the 80s, they really had some great arcade games. They had some great franchises for the Genesis as well. Ah, got hit with a knife. You can pick up the weapon, so I have 3 knives there that I can throw. I also have special moves. No, since I'm playing with the classic characters. And if that doesn't harken back to the days of old. So I'm thinking if I can have the retro Streets of Rage, if I can have the retro Streets of Rage character, maybe I can do Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 3. I pretty much know this, but how to get them, I'll let people that haven't played this find out. Right there, I got a break, so I lost my phone. Can you imagine just going back in the arcade? Back in the days when you had arcades, whether it be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, other beat 'em up, just trying to finish some of these that one token, 1/4. That's insane. Games back in the 80s, they were designed to get rid of a lot of depart youngins of their hard-earned allowance. Ouch. Show you one of the new characters, Cherry.
No daddy's girl.
Yeah, some of the different levels and some of the different level designs. Now, it's not quite a swordfish, but you do have a guitar. One of the cool things, okay. You got to use environmental damage too, as you see the enemies are in the toxic waste. Yeah, that wasn't very good, was it? All right, that is Streets of Rage 4 for the PlayStation. It is also out for the, if I want to say, the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox, and I believe PC. Now it is time for discussion and comments, what I like to call Delve into the Chat, where we are going to talk about some of the comments that people put in the chat. So let us see what we got here. You can hear me better this time. That is good. So the questions were, what were you looking for this time around? Richard, how you doing? Hope everything's going well with you. And we'll need to get a hold of me sometime. Need to get a hold of each other, see how everyone's doing. Jean saying she can hear me better next time, which is very good because we had all sorts of problems last time. Okay, so delving into the chat, we asked what modern game franchise that you'd like to remake. Now I see Zelda. Zelda's been, not only has it been brought out, this year is the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. And there's some rumors that we are going to see a lot of Zelda content, which if you're on the Switch, you can, on the virtual console, you can play Zelda 1 and 2. You also have, of course, Breath of the Wild. We're supposed to get a Breath of the Wild 2 sequel, either late this year or next year. A remaster of Zelda, the Skyward Sword, that was on the Nintendo Wii, which is a very divisive game for some people because of the motion controls. I personally liked it. I thought it was great. We also have rumors that there'll be remasters of some of the other Zelda games like The Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and maybe we'll see some other Celebration titles. if you're interested, there was a game for the Nintendo Switch. I forgot what is the name. Now put it into the director's cut. There is actually a game for the Nintendo Switch that a third-party developer, the independent one, used the Zelda characters in, and it was really cool. I'll have to look at that. Here's a good comment right there. We are saying, Josh is putting Golden Axe or Gunstar Heroes redone in a way similar to Streets of Rage. That would be great. I agree with you. I am surprised that we have not seen, maybe this is the trend because we've got Streets of Rage 4, and we also have a lot of developers, indie developers that are taking Sega properties and doing remasters with them, where they put in the original game art style and then a modern hand-drawn art style. So seeing a Golden Axe would be awesome. I wonder, does Treasure still own Gunstar Heroes, owns that IP, or is that absorbed by Sega? But I definitely agree with you. We need to have more of these franchises. If these big publishers, Konami, if these big publishers are not doing anything with these franchises and a group of passionate gamers turned developers want to do something with them, let them do it. As long as they respect the franchise, and probably in some ways they'll respect the franchise even more than what the publishers will, because maybe they're a little out of touch with that. That's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you would like to see some more of these games and systems as well. That wraps up this live stream of Delve Live. I want to thank the Delve team, who is always helping out and always doing stuff. I want to also thank my sponsor, Iographer. If you have any comments on what games you like to see played, what pop culture topics you would like to talk about, drop me a line in the comments section below. And until next episode, my name's Tom Morris. You can reach me on Delve Into the Void at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This has been Delve Live, episode 41, Classic Games Reimagined. So until next time, we'll see you later.